Okay, hold on. Manufactured setting, they're unhappy with the amount of overtime they're doing. How would you handle the applied situation? Well, I think that the most important thing is that we need to find out why there is so much overtime. So there probably needs to be some analysis prior to the meeting, um,
Mm-hmm.
and some conversation with management to find out why the overtime is going on and what happens to be the situation. Um, and then I think once the facilitation has started, um, topic would be, you know, what are some of the challenges? You know, I mean, I could probably hear in my head that people are complaining about babysitting and you know time with family,
Work-life
exhaustion.
balance. Yes, work-life balance.
Yeah, the work life balance issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that those are a topic. Um, and then I think that um, maybe the discussion would need to move in to there's a problem, so now what could be some solutions that maybe the company could do. Um, so I think part of the facilitation might be maybe doing a fishbowl technique and having two representatives and then let them speak and then the rest can observe. And then I think part of that could also go where if there might be members of that team who want to actually, say a few words, isn't there that third seat that they can go into so they could ask questions or give feedback?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Uh,
think I would use the fishbowl technique here.
mm-hmm.
So that fishbowl technique, so you take two representatives and let them, talk for them and engage in a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. Um,
Right.
and then if there are more ideas spanning, we might need to do the affinity design so then we can start talking about solutions to bring up to management to see how um, that overtime issue could get handled. So maybe like
Mm-hmm.
one solution could be where, well, it doesn't really matter about the solutions because we need to let the team handle that, but
Mm-hmm.
utilizing the different techniques to try to see. But I think fishbowl would be very appropriate here. And I also think affinity design would be very appropriate here because
Which one? The other one?
the affinity design, because
Affinity. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think a bunch of topics would be coming out of this, and a lot
Mm-hmm.
of them are going to be HR topics.
Perfect.
Because then you might be talking about workman's comp, and you might be talking about holiday pay and
Mm-hmm.
overtime pay, and is the pay enough, and what else
Mm.
might be appropriate here.
Right. Also, maybe a nominal group technique. You want to do some voting on the group, how it goes.
Oh yes, that would be the third one, bringing in the
Yeah.
voting. And maybe
Nominal group technique.
utilizing
Yeah.
those representatives, because it sounds like you would probably need a couple of team leaders to kind of help the voice that, but you're supporting them.
Right.
Yep, that's how I would handle that situation.
Perfect. Active
You think
listening.
that that was
Yes.
appropriate?
Yes. Very
Oh,
correct.
fantastic. All right, I'm gonna rock this.
Right. Yes. Active listening. Creating a psychological safety. Active listening.
Yeah, because they're already stressed enough because
Brainstorming solutions.
yes,
Identifying root causes. Fishbone diagram. Brainstorming solutions, new ideas, develop new action plans,
and we definitely
right?
right.
Involving key stakeholders, subject
Yes,
matter experts, right?
yes.
And
You
then
would might
follow up
want
and
to bring
evaluate.
in like you may want to bring in, especially if it's a manufacturing plant, you might want to bring in OSHA. You want why to bring in a union representative.
Right. Okay, wonderful. Let's move to the next one. So are you able to see this screen which I'm sharing now?
Uh,
Brainstorming
hold on. Are you on the slide deck or are you on the 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 workbook?
workbook. 1 second.
Yeah, I was
How
looking
about
at the
now?
workbook. Yeah, I'm there.
You're there? Okay. What's the next
Brainstorming.
question?
You're facilitating a sales team whose sales figures have been down for the last 6 months. How would you handle this applied facilitation? Well, well, first of all, I'm going to bring in food and some snacks, maybe even some prizes, because morale is down, and so you definitely know that you're going to have a bunch of frustrated workers who need to have who need to have a little bit of fun, and also need some morale boost. Like,
Hmm.
let's go and get you some movie tickets, here's some coffee, you know, but like, you need to bring in some prizes for some people who have great answers. Um, so that would be first of all, because these people are really upset and they're really down because something's not working. So I think that this one, we definitely need to do brainstorming. Um,
Yes.
and everybody needs a little paper and write down their thoughts. And then we need to start getting into the discussion. Um, I might even do fishbowl again after we do a little brainstorming, just because I think there could be some representation from the sales team. Um, and I think that, the quiet ones almost need to be asked first. So the introverts
Hmm.
need to be talked to, and see if they have any ideas, because they're probably brainstorming in their head, and they're afraid because they don't want to be telling the sales directors and the sales management and the executives all the information that's going on in their head, and they probably have great ideas that are brainstorming at their desk, and maybe their sales
Yeah.
are higher than the other ones, but they're just been afraid to input that.
Right.
You could possibly do affinity design, but I think the brainstorming and I think the
Yeah, brainstorming is the key here.
is the
Brainstorming,
key to that
problem
one.
solving, goal setting.
And
Goal
yeah, because
setting,
they've got to
smart
work on
goals.
goals and come up with a better plan. They need a better strategy.
Exactly. Smart goals, action
Yep.
plans.
They need to do we might even get into a strategic planning section here, which is probably an advanced technique.
Right. Okay, moving on.
Move on.
Nominal group technique exercise. Yes. What's the
Okay.
question?
Oh, you're facilitating a product development team who are unhappy that their ideas are not being recognized by management. How would you handle this applied facilitation? I think that you're going to use the voting, but we might also incorporate affinity design, just because they have to come up with a plan on how they're going to effectively communicate to their management team without being inappropriate or prideful. They need to be doing it in an objective way, and a respectful way.
Okay.
So they need to be able to know that they have a safe space. We might even ask that management is not in the room,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they come into the room, like maybe after lunch. That we have a work session that is closed. So this way, that product development team talk freely and have a safety plan and be in that safe psychological state.
Right. What else?
Um,
So first you have to do the initial assessment and understanding,
yes,
right?
there has to be some pre stuff that I need to do.
Right.
I tell
Creating
them
an
you just have
environment,
to,
psychological safety, facilitating a dialogue with the management,
yeah, I need to have a
aligning
dialogue with
ideas
the
with
management.
organizational goals, uh, feedback mechanism, the feedback,
Maybe
closed
ask,
loop feedback.
maybe ask the management to give me some idea, like what has been happening and what, what's going on with the community.
Right. Next question.
Affinity
Apply.
diagram.
Yeah.
Um, so we need to add in the brainstorming, and then once
Mhm.
we do the brainstorming, we need to start listing the ideas in that affinity diagram manner. Um, let's see, what is the question? Apply the affinity diagram to an example situation in your organization. Please state the example and how would you handle applied facilitation. Um, well, here's an example, and here's an interesting one. Um,
Mhm.
Special needs young lady, not really I have to spoon feed her everything, not really contributing to the company, not really understanding what a job is. So learning job skills, learning work environment, learning what that is. I'm also learning how to become a boss. So if the job coach and I, job developer and I break it down, I have my own set of things that I have to brainstorm of how do I be a better boss? How do I get the information to them in a more effective manner? How do I communicate differently? Um, so how do I do those things? So I have to brainstorm all of those and then maybe break it down after I brainstorm. And then maybe I need to give the job coach and the employee, a questionnaire and ask them to write down what their concerns are and what their brainstorms are. So then that way I'm collecting that data. Once I
Mhm.
now have that data, that can be put into an affinity diagram.
All right.
And what
Perfect.
we're trying to accomplish is how to have a better and more effective work